Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nirvanic Journey. Today we are going to be talking about high cholesterol, also known as hypercholesterolemia. That just means high cholesterol, okay? According to the CDC, over 95 million adults ages 20 plus have cholesterol levels above the desired level. Now that's just adults, folks. What about all the kids born with familial hypercholesterolemia? I mean, if you're born with it, you're not counted in this CDC 95 million plus. Okay, so everybody's considered that to have it these days. Okay, pretty much a lot of people have it. Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of this Nirvanic Journey, where our goal is to align our health with our enlightenment. I hope I didn't already say that, but if I did, it's worth repeating, okay? All right, so let me first make sure I am 100% clear. I want everybody to be very clear on this. I would never, ever recommend that anybody go get off their medication. I'm not here to tell you how medication is horrible, although you might think so, and sometimes I think so, but there are times we need it, and I would never, ever want you to ever take out any medications that you currently take out of your lifestyle because of something I said, okay? I would never want that, okay? All right, so boom. I'm not a doctor, but, I am in school for medical. So anyway, here we go. Let's see. Let's actually discuss, well, today we're going to actually talk about inflammatory disorders such as cholesterol. And we will discuss how to get rid of them. Yes, you can actually alleviate some of these from your lifestyle, okay? All right, so, I don't want everybody waking up every day trying to be a beacon of light, in this new age and our new world, and trying to raise our vibrations and go up to a higher dimension and all this kind of stuff. If you're in bed and you can barely get out of bed because you're in pain because of joint inflammation or whatever like that, you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel like crap, and you're going to feel discouraged, and you're going to want to keep on doing what you've always done because you're not going to know that you can change it, okay? All right, so here we go. We are going to find out first, what is cholesterol? Okay, so when you go get your blood drawn at the doctor's office, they're going to separate your cholesterol into typically three different sections, okay? You're going to have total cholesterol, which you'll hear about that now they're recommending, I think recently they've lowered it to 175 or less is normal, but personally I'm thinking 200 to 230, 240, something like that is probably, in the safe zone for cholesterol, but, go according to what your doctor says, of course. Okay, so it's going to be total cholesterol. Then you're going to have your LDL cholesterol, which L is a lipoprotein. Anyway, the way I remember it, there's LDL and there's HDL. LDL is supposed to be kept low, L, low. HDL is supposed to be kept high, H, high. The reason is because hyperlipidemia, let's see, what's it called? Let's see. Yeah, okay. Low density lipoprotein is L, high density lipoprotein is H, okay? All right, so your high density lipoproteins actually go through and act like a vacuum cleaner for your low density hyperprotein. So that's what keeps those low. The high density actually keeps the low density low, okay? And that's where you're supposed to stay. They have that nice strong high and low, okay? I've always been able to remember that according to H stands for high, L stands for low, that kind of thing. Okay, according to Harvard Men's Health magazine, cholesterol serves some of the following functions. Now, cholesterol's been demonized. When you hear the word cholesterol, you just automatically think, cholesterol is bad. It's not, okay? It's not all bad. We have to have it. Okay, so according to Harvard Men's Health magazine, some of the functions it serves is the building block of the steroid hormones, such as the stress hormone cortisol. Male and female sex hormones, such as testosterone and estrogen, are all created from cholesterol, okay, or they need cholesterol for their synthesis, okay? It is a building block of human tissues, okay? It helps synthesize bile in the liver. It also is an essential part of what surrounds all human cell structures, okay? It acts as a protein in cells so that chemicals and stuff can get in and out of the cell like they need to. It just anchors the cell and gives the cell good architectural structure, okay? Because cholesterol is so vital in the body, in the brain, your brain does not depend on your body to deliver cholesterol to the brain. The brain actually makes its own cholesterol. And 25% of the cholesterol in the body is found in the brain. Okay, it's very, very important for memory and learning and things like that. Okay. How about, let's see, how about 25% is found in our brain? That's right, we need it for brain function. Okay, the cholesterol of the brain is mostly found in the myelin sheaths, which surround the axons of the nerve cells, which protect the cells and allow movement of electrical impulses back and forth to control thoughts, movement, and the sensation, how we feel things, okay? A side note, which needs to be mentioned here, is that the demyelinization is the cause of multiple sclerosis, which is MS, okay? Very common today, very common inflammatory disorder, okay? And I believe if we can get our inflammation in our body straight, I believe we can get rid of it, okay? And so you may know somebody with, I'm sure you know somebody with MS. I definitely do. And I can tell you something towards the end that could definitely help with that, okay? All right, so what is the normal range of cholesterol? According to the Mayo Clinic, and I put the link below, everything I mentioned, I'm citing it all, okay, in the links below. As of 2015, now I used a number from 2015 because I know recently I worked in peds for years, and recently the number went down to 175 as the level that they want you to stay at, okay? But in 2015, the total cholesterol desired rate was 200 or below. The LDL desired was less than 70 if you're at risk for heart disease or have any conditions which could eventually put you at high risk, such as diabetes, things like that, okay? But if you're not in a high risk zone, they say you can keep your LDLs up as high as 100 to 129, okay? That's your normal range. But if you're at high risk or have family history of heart disease, things like that, then they want you to keep it around 70 or less. Okay, your HDL levels should be higher or greater than 60 milligrams per deciliter if possible, because your good cholesterol, like I said, is a vacuum cleaner for your bad cholesterol, okay? You want to keep that up there. You should definitely be told, okay, so if you are going in for blood work to have your cholesterol tested, make sure you fast, okay? Nothing after midnight except you can have water or black coffee, not any coffee creamer, nothing like that. Anything you eat is going to make that cholesterol level go up. My ex-husband, he was in the in the Army, and he went in to have his cholesterol checked, and it was like 400, and they were like, dude, your cholesterol is like off the charts, you know? But it was in the afternoon, and he had just eaten a mess hall cheeseburger. And he said, so that drove that cholesterol way, way up. Okay, so make sure you are seriously fasting. I probably wouldn't eat anything after 8 p.m. the night before, you know, just to make sure, especially nothing with fat content or sugar. Okay, all right, so here we go. Now that we know what cholesterol is and kind of have broken that down and how valuable it is to the human body, why is 30% of adults over the age of 40 in the United States on some form of statin drugs, okay? And why are we having trouble keeping those numbers all balanced out? I started researching this. I was born with high cholesterol, and so I started researching this about 20 years ago when I realized that that I was on a diet, a very strict diet. I was cutting back on red meat. I wasn't using butter. I was trying to cut back on anything that had high fat content. And I went and had my blood redrawn 3 months later, and I had no change in my cholesterol number. And so I was like, what the heck? You know, so I started reading books. I went to the library and just started checking books out and reading all about it. You remember the craze in the 80s and 90s where everything was low fat yogurt, low fat this, low fat that, low fat everything. And what I found was that when they were lowering the fat, they were raising that sugar content, okay, which was... I'm going to tell y'all in a minute that was not the right way to go with that, okay? After researching, I found out that since the prevalence of elevated cholesterol levels was going up, I assumed it wasn't fat, and I theorized, you know, and with all my reading and stuff that I'd done, I theorized it was sugar. Sugar is highly inflammatory, and according to the University of Copenhagen, I'm going to read this off of this because this is like crazy, okay? And you don't hear about this. It's not stuff you hear about, okay? It caramelizes the elastic fibers in your blood vessels, causing them to lose elasticity. And then with just normal exercise, okay, so you went you went out partying the night before, you had a bunch of Coke, or I don't know, what you had, but you had a bunch of sugar, went to a birthday party the night before and you partied hardy and had a bunch of Cokes and cake and all that good stuff. Well, you're caramelizing the elastic fibers in your vessels. Then the next day you're like, oh, I got to work off all that cake and stuff. And you go for a bike ride. Okay. And then what happens when you go for a bike ride? What naturally happens when you exercise? Your blood pressure goes up. Okay. Your heart rate goes up, not your blood pressure, but your heart rate definitely goes up. Okay. And since the blood vessels have lost the elasticity, they will develop micro tears, okay, little tiny perforations and little tiny tears that damage them. And then what happens is once you have a micro tear, the natural body processes of platelets rushing to the scene to make sure that you don't bleed out. They are all coming in there and doing their job. And what's happening is your blood vessels, where they're supposed to be nice and elastic, and your blood's, oh, she's riding her bike. Okay, she's not anymore. Whatever. They rip a little bit, okay? And then you have a little opening right here, and your body heals it. Well, then when it heals it, it gets fuller and smaller, and it causes your vasculature to get smaller, okay? And over years of this happening, high sugar content, caramelizing the veins, stuff like that, micro tears, and tons of micro tears, inflammation disorders, and things like that, you're gonna make those blood vessels more and more narrow and more hard, okay? All right, so my mind is constantly on a tangent. I want to constantly go to other things like how your bones draw calcium. I can talk about that in another video. Okay, here we go. All right, so what's so popular is like nowadays everybody, in Europe, I have friends that live in Paris, and I have a friend in Paris. I have a friend that lives in Rome, Italy, that he was an exchange student years and years ago. My friend from Paris, she and I were in theater together growing up, and you don't get, a big old glass of Coke and then get free refills walking up there refilling your Cokes. That is a United States thing, okay? No other country does that. That's terrible for you, okay? So all that sugar and all that kind of stuff. Okay, it is also my theory that statin drugs, that's part of Big Pharma. So I'm not going to go into the details, but I'm just saying, just do your own research on that. And that's why the cholesterol is 300. Anything below 300, it used to say like in the 50s or 60s, anything below 300. Then it went down to anything below 250, and then anything below 200, and now it's 175. So pretty soon, cholesterol is going to be demonized, and then we won't be able to think at all, okay? Because our brains will not work without it, okay? All right, so since 30% of 40-year-olds and older in the United States are on statins, it's also vital to know what can go wrong if your cholesterol level becomes too low, okay? All right, here are a few things that have been found in studies, and I also put links below. It can cause MS. It can cause demyelinization of your axons in your neurons, okay? Or the myelin sheath, which is the protective coating, which also causes the electrical impulses to move back and forth in your nerve endings, okay? It makes that not work, and it makes severe, because your nerves is what senses pain. That's why when we burn our finger, we know we did it, okay? And that is affected whenever your myelin sheath comes off, which causes constant pain in your nerve endings, okay? Low cholesterol also, according to Very Well Health, can prevent the removal of bad cholesterol. Like I told you already, the high cholesterol removes the low cholesterol. Now, what disorders can happen within our body if our cholesterol drops too low? According to Very Well Health, again, some of these disorders can be as follows. Obesity, or metabolic syndrome, which usually includes high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist. What can cause the spare tire around your belly too, okay? I'm not going to say it, but we need to lessen the intake of it, okay? I think you guys know where I'm going with this, okay? All right. Type 2 diabetes, where your doctor may encourage you to lose weight or take oral medications or even shots if you have it pretty bad, okay? High triglycerides, where your body will store triglycerides Now, your body stores triglycerides for a reason. Everything our body does is for a good reason, okay? We make it bad by the foods we eat and the crap we put in our mouths, okay? But triglycerides are stored so that in between meals, that'll give you energy to get you through to the next meal, okay? As long as everything's working in your body, that should happen. But some people never stop eating. They're at work and they're on their computers and they're just eating carbs and eating the wrong things. Now, if we have a bag of cucumbers or a bag of celery, a bag of carrots, hummus, whatever, stuff like that, some good healthy snacks, well, that's not going to affect us as much. But if we're just eating carbs, our body is constantly trying to keep that feedback loop balanced and keep your sugar balanced and all that good stuff, keep the inflammation down, whatever it's got to do, whether that's taking calcium out of your bones, whatever it is, okay? All right, smoking. Duh. Okay, smoking's terrible for you. It's hard as hell to quit, but it's terrible for you, and I would highly recommend doing whatever it takes. Putting handcuffs on and putting your hands back here where you can't get to it. I don't know, whatever you have to do. Everybody used to smoke when I was a kid. Everybody smoked. But now everybody knows that all the emphysema, the oxygen machines, all that good stuff, we don't want that in our life, okay? There's YouTubes, there's all kinds of, you can seek therapy. You can just make that decision and you can say, God, I need your help. I'm quitting, okay? Quit smoking, guys, please. High doses of medications that promote urine flow, which would be like diuretics, things like that. High doses of beta blockers or medications that reduce blood pressure. That can also cause your cholesterol to go too low. Severe liver disease, which can come from toxicity of any kind due to excessive alcohol, chemicals, really any toxins. If you work on a chemical plant, stuff like that, it can be caused by a lot of different things. Severe liver disease. That's the one I just said. End-stage kidney disease, okay? Sedentary lifestyle. Okay, a huge study was done on cholesterol, which involves, I'm going to hurry because I know my time's getting away, which involved 7 different countries. Incidentally, was called the 7-country study, okay? All right, so, and it involved USA, Finland, Yugoslavia, Japan, Netherlands, Italy, and Greece. And they chose the countries according to their eating because they ate differently, they exercised differently, they had different habits and things like that. And guess what they found at the end of the study? They found that the statin drugs were not what got the cholesterol levels not what caused high cholesterol levels. What was causing the high cholesterol levels was diet, okay? Primarily diet related. It was all primarily diet related. Okay, now, what can we do to help reduce the bad cholesterol levels and raise the good levels so we can create a healthy, shiny environment within our bodies, and then we can wake up feeling amazing, okay? Like I said before, don't quit or change anything without talking to your doctor first. Personal tips I've learned through the years in various and sundry ways. My dad had severely high cholesterol his whole life. It was familial, just like it was for me. I developed it from him. Thanks, Dad. The only thing that he did was... my dad was in the Air Force, and he went to the same Air Force doctor every year. And he came in one time and they said, all right, Mr. Ben, looks like all your levels are great. And he said, you mean like all of my levels, like my cholesterol, like everything? And they were like, yeah, they're all great. And he said, can I see that? And he looked at it, and the doctor was like, well, what have you been doing? Have you been taking your statin medicine? And he said, actually, I've been using apple cider vinegar. So when my dad said that, I was like, I've got to take it too because I have familial. So I'll tell you a recipe really quick. I'm going to say this really super quick. I use 1 teaspoon of turmeric in a jar. I drink out of glass, just glass, but a teaspoon of turmeric, as much as you want of cinnamon, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of cinnamon. It's so good for blood sugar. Turmeric's obviously a good antioxidant. It's wonderful for you. I put cayenne pepper, and I buy cayenne off of Amazon. I buy really hot cayenne because it's super good for your vessels, your blood vessels and stuff, and keeping those elastic. Okay, so I put about 1/4 of a teaspoon, but you can put whatever is good to taste for you, okay? And then I put... a teaspoon of raw honey, and then I put a little bit of hot water in there, just a tiny little bit, just enough to make it all stir around real good. Then I add cool water all the way up to the top, and then I add a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and I drink that through a straw. I just like to drink through a straw because it's fun, and plus you don't want to put the apple cider vinegar directly on your teeth, but I'm mixing it with water. It's diluted. It's not a problem anyway. Okay, I do that 1 to 2 times a day. Okay, and that's very, very good. So try that if you have a doctor's appointment coming up or something like that. Try that for a couple months before you go, and just see what happens. Okay. All right. So another thing that's really good for you is Well, of course, if you're on statin drugs, stay on those. But high quality fish oil vitamins are very good. Vitamin E, also, if you have a high quality vitamin E, make sure you research that because there are some bad ones out there. Vitamin C, I take that daily. I take 2,000 to 6,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day because it helps with blood vessel health as well as anti-aging, okay? Vitamin B3, which is also niacin. Some of you may have heard of it. It causes a niacin flush. That's normal. If you take niacin according to the bottle directions, I buy my vitamins. I don't buy them at Walmart. I mean, you can. I don't know if they work as good. I don't know. But I like to go to Sprouts. I like to look up reviews on Amazon before I buy vitamins in the store just to make sure and see what other people found about it. But look for that niacin flush, though. It's going to happen to you. It doesn't last but 10 to 20 minutes, you know, depending on how sensitive you are. I had to take it years ago to try and help get my cholesterol levels down. Okay, garlic is amazing for you. If you do garlic as a supplement, you can do it in tablet form that doesn't have a smell, or you can just do the cloves. If you do it in cloves, I would ask your partner who lives with you if they would like to do it as well, because you're going to want both of you to be on it, okay, if you're taking garlic. And last but certainly not least, I highly recommend exercise. Guys, work your way up. If you can't start now because you haven't been exercising and you're afraid of your heart or whatever, start slow, work your way up. I would recommend getting up to where you can ride a bike every other day, or you can take a nice brisk walk every other day. Okay, you really need to exercise every other day, if not every day. Okay, try yoga. Now that everybody's been quarantined, try yoga on TV. It's free. You can look it up on YouTube. So I have a smart TV where I can get YouTube on my TV and I can watch yoga right on my TV. It's amazing. I can sit on my bedroom floor in the comfort of my own home in my own clothes or no clothes, you know, whatever I want to wear. Okay, and I'm doing yoga in there. It's awesome. It's so good for you. Keeps you nice and young. And then positive affirmations. That's not backed by science or medicine, okay? But it is the law of physics, okay? So if you you say positive things into the universe, positive things are to come back to you, okay? So I am so grateful. I'm so thankful that we are all healthy and that our bodies work wonderfully. When you're doing yoga and you're breathing and everything, just say positive things. I'm so thankful that my body works according to how it should work. I'm so thankful that all of my organs work flawlessly to keep me toxic free and to keep me healthy and everything like that, okay? And look up positive affirmations on YouTube. They're everywhere as well. God bless each and every one of you, and very, very best to all of you for your health. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Try the apple cider vinegar. Come back. Let me know how it worked for you. I love each and every one of you, and namaste.